Welcome back. We are in Engineering 11. This is Monday the 10th. We're in Lab 3 section now. We're going to start at 10:17. I don't want to talk for more than 20 minutes, so I'm going to put a hard stop here at 12:40. Please submit your Exam 1 questions. I already have one submission. By the time you leave this room, I really want your suggestions on what I should put on your exam. I already see one that makes me smile, teaching me something about beefcakes or something. I'm going to show you some code today that's going to be helpful for your Lab 3. Lab 3 is not due until when? So a lot of time, right? So I'm going to show you some stuff today that is not testable material, but will help you for Lab 3. I'll get it video recorded so that you have access to this and you're not tripping out about it, blah, blah, blah. Before we actually go over, please submit your Lab 3 homework Exam 1 suggested problems right up there before you leave this room. Our in-class exam is this coming Wednesday from 10 a.m. And then let me say this, I never want time to be an issue for you. When you take a test in my class, I don't want time to be the thing that stops you. I will be in this room till 2:15 p.m. If you think you need more than 4 hours and 15 minutes, speak to me before you leave. That has to be a negotiated item between me and my wife. She expects me home early. If you're telling me you need more than 4 hours and 15 minutes, or you may, speak to me now so that I'm not expecting to leave at around 2:15, right? Like if you have any doubt, come talk with me so that I can ask her permission. It's going to be in this room. I hope I told you that you're allowed to bring up to 12 pages of handwritten notes on single-sided pages. If you decided to write on both sides, then it would be 6. When I say handwritten notes, I mean your handwriting. I'm not allowed to contact Jean and be like, hey, Jean, will you write your notes for me? And then I can use his. No. You can write your own notes and you can use them on the test. You can write anything you want. You can draw pictures. You can spray it with cologne. You can write examples. You can write solutions. Whatever you want to write on your notes. The only person that is not allowed to use handwritten is somebody with DRC accommodations. If you have those, you'll know. Come speak to me about that. So an example, I had a woman, I don't know if I've told the story, that she moved her body with a stick attached to her chin because she had no functionality in her body. Do you think I made her do handwritten notes? Hell no. She was allowed to type up those notes, but that was something she contacted me about on day 1 of the quarter, right? So if you have a situation that you think, oh, I might not be able to write them by hand because I have accommodations, come talk to me. Otherwise, the only notes you're allowed to use are the ones that you handwrite yourself.
Can you make us screenshots and handwrite notes?
Oh yeah, so there are students that actually write on a tablet. If you use your tablet to make your notes and then you print those out, and then I can clearly tell that the stuff that you're writing in your hand. So let me ask you this. Does your handwriting on your tablet look similar to the handwriting that I would see on the test?
No. For example, I just take a picture from the note,
No.
just explain myself.
No. Who did the work to make those notes that I give to you for free? Who did that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this my class or is it your class?
It's our class.
It's your class, right? So if you want to use notes, you got to make them yourself. Yeah. You can copy them word for word. Yeah, that counts.
Credit to Jeff Andrews.
No, you don't have to give me credit. It's yours. I give it to you for free. But you can't use stuff that I made for myself.
What if I want to give you credit?
Just come stop me 5. That's all right. Did that answer that question? Derek, do you want to take over for a minute?
Yeah. Over there?
Yeah, I mean, just you don't have to show yourself on the screen, but just speak loud enough so that people can hear you in the...
So this is like the second time I've TA'd with Jeff, and last time I wanted to like...
A little louder, I can't hear you.
Oh, the last time I wanted to like somehow offer like people help like on exams before the exam happens. So I think it'd be kind of like cool. I'm not saying that like I have like the answers to every single one of your questions, but I think it'd be like beneficial to have like a formal like group like study session outside of class for you guys. Maybe like I know it's kind of late, but like maybe sometime tomorrow if that works for you guys, and then I could be there and try to help you guys, and you guys could help each other. But I think like that kind of setting is really valuable, like for digesting this material. I mean that's how I got through like all of my classes with Jeff. So yeah.
How many of you might be interested in such an opportunity? Regardless, assuming that the times work out, right?
Yeah.
So how about this? If you're interested in such an opportunity, maybe we can get them in contact with you. You can create a list of names. Like, so what we'll do is if you're interested, we'll have a piece of paper. You can write your name down. Derek, we'll find a time that works well for you.
Yeah.
This is going to be kind of a scheduling issue. So I imagine what you could do is we could write on this sheet of paper, so study session list. And then this is the first time I've had a TA in this thing, maybe coming towards the final.
Yeah, definitely.
Instead of,
yeah.
So thank you for that. That was not your fault, that was my fault. Everything that goes wrong is my fault, right? Study session in MATLAB. We'll call this an interest form. If you're interested, when I stop talking, you can come and put your name on this thing. We will find a time, and then I'll communicate it on live today in class.
Yeah.
And then we can also, before I leave this room today, I'll send an email out to the people that are on this list with the exact time and space and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Does that sound okay? Okay.
Just pass it around.
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea. You might want to put your name. I don't know how you all contact each other. Email or text message. I don't like the idea of putting your phone number on a piece of paper that you don't control. So maybe just put your name down. Yeah. Any other questions about the exam or stuff that you think you need? If they come up, let me know. What I wanted to show you is what you are probably expecting from a coding class. Okay, so here's our website. Welcome to Engineering 11. You got very lucky because I'm not making you do tracker. Guess next time that I teach this class, what's going to happen? They're going to have to do tracker for themselves, right? But because I've already worked, in addition to the 10 hours that I spent reading, I've done about 7.5 hours of just pure coding. So this document is the one I just downloaded. I want to show you how to get access to this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save as. Yeah, let's go desktop. And then, I always forget how to do this. So we'll just call this Lab 3. And then I'll just call this pen data. Could you guess what pen data means? Pendulum data. Okay. Some feature of this work might be lost. Yes, for sure. So now, Excel, shut up. You're bothering me, Excel. Yeah. Okay. So let's go back to MATLAB. I am not ready. So do you remember we did this little thing where we got the little new script? I have no idea what I'm going to do with this data at this moment. I'm not ready to document it. So I'm going to teach you an old trick that I used when I was a child, which is I'm going to open a regular old non-useful script file. It doesn't have any documentation. And then I'm going to save this thing into Lab 3, and I'm going to call this Lab 3 Sandbox. The difference between a sandbox and a construction site is that at the end of the day in the sandbox, I will probably ruin everything that I've built, right? Yeah. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to figure out how can I import this data. And there's this thing in MATLAB called the read table. And when I do read table, one thing that I could do is literally just document read table. Okay. What does read table expect? The name of a file. And the question is, what type of name is it? looks like it's a name that's in a string, right? So in this case, let's go ahead and check. Am I in the right place? Am I going to be able to run the sandbox file? Does my path correlate with the place that I've saved my sandbox? Is this right here equal to this path? No. So let's go ahead and just run a stupid command like CLC and run the damn thing. And let's change folder. Now I'm in my lab 3. Let me delete that and save. Let's go ahead and read table. And in this case, it's going to be, I think I called it pen data, right? Okay, and I'll go ahead and call that T. Oh, it's .csv maybe? There it is. Okay, so this is now I've gotten from the table into this thing, but do you see that this table has multiple types of data? It has string data as the titles, but then it has numerical data. I don't really care about the table data class in MATLAB. So like if you look at this over here, what type of data is this? Table data. Can I tell you something? When I learned MATLAB in 2008, this was not available. So I'd never heard of the table data until I started to do this. That's designed for tables with multiple types of data. But really, could you see what I care about? Do I really care about the titles? Nah. And in particular, like if I go back to this data sheet here, what do you notice about, what's the only thing I don't care about? Row number 1. Next question, how far does it go down? Well, how many rows are in this thing? 962. So instead of using the read table one, so what I could do is I could just clear the whole thing, CLC. I'm going to share this idea. When I was a young man, can someone say, you're not that old? Oh, thank you so much. That makes me feel so good. I used to write in my script files clear in CLC, but then somebody gave me a script file that had that in it, and I wasn't ready to clear in CLC my data, and it really pissed me off. So I no longer write those in my script file. If I want to clear the data, can you guess where I do that? Just before I run it. So in particular, we're going to actually do this thing called CSV Read. Could you guess what the MATLAB function CSV Read does? Okay. If I wanted to learn more about the function CSV Read, check this out. CSV Read file name, that's called pen data, R1, R2. What is, excuse me, R1, C1. What does R1, C1 do? R1 offsets the row, R2 offsets the column. Check this out. If I want no offset, if I don't want to skip a row, what value does R1 get? 0. If I don't want to skip a column, what value does C1 get? 0. So let's go back here. How many rows do I want to skip? Oh, I'm so glad you just said that. CSV Read. Check this out. So CSV Read, C1, C2, R1, reads only the range bounded by offsets. So I'm going to let you, welcome to teaching yourself how to code, right? So I'm going to offset it by 1, offset it by 0. I just gave you the name of the function that I would use if I were you. That was a big gift. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at T. One of the things that I might do so now, here's a claim. What is that? Sorry, that's probably hard to read. Let's go back to our data file. Oh, it's right here, right? What's the first column of our data file? It's a frame number, right? Claim, this line of code now gives me a table. What type of entry is in that table? Double. What's a double? What type of data is a double? Is it strings? Is it characters? Numeric? Numeric. We're not sure what a double is because we haven't finished that part of our lecture yet, right? But if let's say that I wanted to get the first 10 frames. Sorry. What if I wanted to get the time stamps associated with the first 10 frames? Okay, check this out. Maybe I call it time, right? What if I wanted the entire time of all of my data? Well, I would take all time column 2. What if I wanted position? Well, I have to go back to my data sheet, right? Do you know what X is?
Position along the x-axis.
Okay. Could you guess what V sub X is?
Velocity along the x-axis.
A sub X?
Acceleration.
Okay.
Along the x.
So if I wanted to get position data, and why don't I call it like X position data? What? Okay. What about X velocity data? What about X acceleration data? Okay. What if I wanted to plot the damn thing? Okay, so why don't we go ahead and just plot, I don't know, time versus X position? What do you think?
Time on the x-axis. You need a map.
Uh-oh. Did I break MATLAB?
Not left and right.
Okay. Now I want you to start getting mad at me, okay? I'm giving you function names. Do you know what I expect? That you read. Let's go ahead and set fig to be figure 1. And now we'll plot the damn thing. And then you know what? I'd like to control some figure properties. So, figures are containers for graphics or user interface components. I don't know if we're going to get so far. I really want to teach you how to make your own. So do you see this whole like window right here? We could code MATLAB code to create that window, and we could also code MATLAB code to capture our mouse clicks and all this stuff. When I get older in this class, this will be a whole lab. Yeah.
That's not what MATLAB is primarily used for.
So the question that I would ask is right back to you. What do you want to use MATLAB for? So I have one of my buddies was doing numerical solutions to Navier-Stokes. And part of that process was he wanted the user to be able to control the workflow of his numerical simulations. And so he created an entire graphic interface where you could pause it and start it and stop it at certain times so that you didn't have to go into the code to figure out what type of parameters that you want. So have you ever used in Mathematica where you have like you could set the parameter values using sliders? Meaning there's like a click and drag thing to set the value of variables. We could do that in MATLAB. The question is not like what do we use MATLAB primarily. The question is what do you want to do with MATLAB, right? I find it useful in some instances to be able to control the user not through code but through GUIs. Yeah, so depending on that circumstance, you could do this. So check this out. This is new. I was not able to do this when I was a younger man. I learned in 2008. So since 2014, we can control properties of figures using this data class. Do you see that? If I set fig, the variable fig, to be equal to figure, then the units associated with figures we can define as inches. So check this out. Interactive figure docking. So let's go back to our main MATLAB thing. Dock controls, I can turn on or off. So let's go back to our sandbox. There's sandbox. So let's do fig dock controls. Let's see what happens if we turn the damn thing on. Okay. Let's see what happens if we turn the damn thing. Can you guess?
On.
Did anything happen? It's not clear to me that anything happened there. Ooh, menu bar. What do you think happens if I control the menu bar on my figure? So what does this particular thing do? Window appearance in a figure. What does menu bar do? If I type the word figure in, uh-oh, what happened? Menu bar, if I type the word none in, what happens? Oh, wow, look at what I just learned how to do. I mean, I guess I could lecture on this, right? But then that would give you an inaccurate representation of what coding is like. Oh, look at this. Please tell me, how would I position my figure so that it was on the bottom left-hand corner? And then I need to shut up. So I have figure properties, right? A little fast for you. You can come back and watch this if you'd like. Fig dot position 0, 0. And then I'd like it to be I don't know, let's say 500 by 500. I'm not sure what the units are. You can't see this. It just put, so on my screen, on the home screen, I haven't figured this out yet. If you have two screens, how do you put it on the other screen? So when I ran this code, MATLAB put the figure at the bottom left-hand corner and then made a figure that was 500 by 500 units. In this case, I think it's normalized pixel units. Okay. Last thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to shut up. Check this out. What if I wanted to control it's a little bit beyond the scope here. So I'm going to lead you to the next one. So one of the things you should look up for sure when you're doing Lab 3 is figure properties. The next one you should look up is axis properties. So check this out. What type of things could I control in the axis? Just copy and paste that. You can look up what GCA is, get current axes. So this is saying, hey, name the current axes AX, and then define the current axes as blue. Check this out. What if I wanted to increase the size of the font on my axes? So I would just do font size. Right now the default is 12. Why don't we try, I don't know, 16, 24. Let's try that. Anything change? Say it again. I'm going to let you play. We're going to see each other again on Wednesday. And then we'll see each other again on next Wednesday. Here's a claim. You can learn a lot about importing data using either Table Read or CSV Read. In this lab, you're going to be working with figures, right? So there's a function called figure. Learn how to use it. There are also properties of figures. You can learn more about figure properties in the documentation about figure properties. There are also axes properties. You can learn more about axes properties by documenting axes properties. The last one that is, I think, fun is something called text properties. So let me show you where I am currently. I've been working on this code for about 7 hours. I haven't really finished all the command yet. So I control right now. I've colored every single one of these. I can write this in LaTeX code. I control this. I control that. I can see how the grid points are all there. I've controlled all of this. All of this I learned by just reading documentation. Many of this wasn't even optional when I learned how to do MATLAB. all of these things, these properties, was not even in MATLAB when I learned to do MATLAB. So just by reading the functions that I just told you, text properties, figure properties, axis properties, I've controlled all of this. I'll have an update for you with Lab 3 updates. This gets you started there, and we'll see each other again on Wednesday. I'm going to shut up and let you go. So hopefully I'll have some better updates for you next time I see you in lab. Yeah.
I got the thing.
Oh, you got the date and the time?
Yeah, I figured out ideal time.
Sorry, so last thing we'll say on this one. It looks like, oh, sorry. Shit,
Oh wait.
I can't show. I'm gonna have to delete that.
I mean, yeah, that's all. This went tomorrow.
So this is Wednesday,
Tuesday.
oh, sorry, Tuesday, 2/11/2020 from 3 p.m. through 5 p.m. in STEM Center.
I'm gonna book a room in the library.
In room in library.
Yeah.
How would they learn about where that room is?
I mean, there's about like, I'm gonna book it right now, so they, I think it's right up on the board.
Okay, all right. So as soon as that room is ready, you can post it there. All right. Go at it, y'all.